today I bring you a review of If Nobody Speaks of Remarkable Things by Jon McGregor. I just read this and loved it. It's definitely gone into like my tops, so it was good. This book has a very mixed reception, and I haven't picked it up until this point because of that. I bought it because I just wanted to pick something up, and this was there, and I recognised the title, and I really liked the title, but I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, and I've put it off and put it off. The only reason I picked it up when I did pick it up was because it's quite short, and I wanted just a short little book to read between books. And it was amazing. Basically, this is a very uniquely written novel. It follows the life of a sleepy English village, basically, and it follows each of the neighbours. But the way it does this is that we never know the people's names. We learn a few of them towards the end, but not really, and our sort of substantial characters, we never learn their names. And when I was looking through, I wanted to look through reviews of this, just to sort of see why people could not like this. And a lot of the insults that people gave it were that they didn't like the fact that they didn't know the names of the people and they didn't feel connected to the characters. But I think the ironic thing is that that's the whole point, and I thought not knowing the names of people was a very, very effective technique, because you came to know people through different things, and at first you're a bit like, who is everybody, because all you get of them is, you know, the man at number 22, and you, when it's going through all the numbers, you think, well, who was it that lived there? I can't remember what happened with them before, because you literally get snippets. It's like, the best way to describe it is that it's like Polaroid picture views of each of these people, and throughout the novel you come to build a much more completed picture of them, but you still don't know them completely. And about halfway through you start recognising people from things like, you know, the man with the scarred hands, or the man with the moustache, and things like that. But it's just very, very beautiful. Running parallel to all these sort of neighbour descriptions is a story that's set in the future from then, which follows a girl who grew up on the street and moved away from the street when something horrendous happened, which is ultimately what the novel is leading towards telling us. She has found out that she's got herself in a bit of a predicament, and it's about how she deals with that, how she deals with telling her family about that. And I thought, for a man, the relationship between mother and daughter in this book, and the interactions they have with each other, was probably the most realistic and effective depiction of a mother-daughter relationship I have ever read. And for a man to have achieved that is something amazing. But the writing in this is amazing generally. It's much more poetic. It's not so much about the prose. It's poetry, basically, in a novel form. It's not for everybody. I'm fully aware it's not for everybody. It's not plot-based. Nothing happens. The whole point is that nothing happens. And I loved the fact. It was the writing that did it for me, though, completely. It could have been about anything, and I wouldn't have cared. With writing this good, it doesn't need to be about anything, and I really liked the message that came across and the techniques that were used. This was actually a debut novel, and I think it was so brave for a debut, and it so paid off, in my opinion. Genuinely did. The best way, as always, is to give you a bit of the writing, so I have highlighted a point. This is quite a big extract because I think it wouldn't work if I just read you a little bit, so it might go on for a bit. I do apologise, but bear with. The look in her face when she lifted the veil, the daylight, the pride, the beautiful in her soul, could be yesterday. Her face was beautiful. Her hands was beautiful. Her skin was smooth and clear and unbroken when she touched him lightly. It felt like water trickling across his body. She would move her hand across his face to see if she wanted him to shave before the evening meal, and when she was done his skin would feel clean of the dust of the day. She was tall and strong, and she kept her hair coiled tightly around the back of her head, and she had intricate paintings on the secret parts of her body. She was a wonderful woman, but this was not enough to help her. He loved her deeply, but this was not enough to help her. "Please, darling," she called out to him through the closed door. "Please, darling, can't you help me?" she called. He couldn't reach to her. He was not enough. The door was stuck in the heat. It was swollen. The wood of the door and the frame, it was too small, like a wedding ring on a very hot day. It was so very hot, so very hot. She said, "Darling, I'm very hot. I cannot breathe. Please, can't you reach me?" The paint on the door was coming away. It was bubbles, blistering each time he touched it. He felt knives across his skin and into his bones. The metal of the door handle, when he touched it, it mounted his hand like butter. It sunk into his skin like an axe into a tree, and the hot air and the poisonous paint in his lungs. He thought he would die, but he didn't. He didn't die. She said, "My God." My God, what is happening? It's amazing. Another thing I forgot to mention, actually, that a lot of people said they didn't like is the fact that this doesn't use punctuation in the way that you're used to punctuation being used. There is no speech marks in this. There's commas when you wouldn't expect there to be, and no commas when you would expect there to be. The full stops are all in different places, but it gives you a very interesting reading experience, and it almost comes out like this, and bam, 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 bam. It's just read it, probably, if it sounds like your kind of thing. Probably not if it doesn't sound like your kind of thing, because if you don't like something that is slow and you know, different, then you're not going to like this, so don't read it. But if it sounds like your kind of thing, you totally should read it. Don't be put off by the people who say they don't like it. I think you just read it. Bye.